But a real dancer doesn't practice by just doing movement. They practice by listening music. It's really important to say that because a lot of people go in a room and think that practicing is this. No, it's a spiritual thing that makes your lifestyle, your movement, and the way you want to use it every day and cultivate it. You are responsible of your body and your spirit. It's not just about movement. It's also the way you get inspired by. So you go to watch other people. That's the way also you go to take some lesson from other people. Because to be a great teacher, you have to be a great student.
Stay tuned, stay curious. Enculturation Podcast. Meech, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming such a long way from across the world to hang out in California, to experience the culture here, and also to share some of your stories. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. For our listeners out there, Meech has and still is a big inspiration to me since 2008. I'm excited to finally have this conversation with him, tell a piece of his story, and share some of his knowledge, of his experiences that's impacted me, and hopefully it'll impact you too.
Let's go. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me here. Like you say, since 2008, we spread the knowledge and we meet together. And I'm so happy to be here to share this experience with you.
So, Meech, tell me a little bit about your background, your origins, because you're from Cameroon and now you live in France, but also you travel the world. So, just tell me about your origins.
I'm born and raised in France. Actually, my origin is from Cameroon. I got my Christian education and school and everything in France. My friends is over there. I grew up with them, and my family is living between Cameroon and France. And
What about dance? Has that been present in your life for all your life, or like how did you get into the dance styles that I know you for, such as hip hop and house?
Yeah, so I got introduced in dance by African tradition from Cameroon. Through my parents and the family, we celebrate like every time. We celebrate for anything. We thanks the nature, and we celebrate and thanks the ancestor about that. And I got introduced to dance through that. Yeah, I remember my mom says, as the moment as you were listening the drums and the djembe, we call this the djembe, you've been moving. so we sing and we move as Cameroonese traditions.
Nice. And how did you get introduced to hip hop and house?
So my parents are really open people. They love disco music. They love funk and disco, which was really popular in the beginning of the 80s in France. They love pop, dance music, jazz, Afrobeat from Nigeria, because we have a good Afrobeat in Africa also from Nigeria. And they were playing music also from Martinique and Guadeloupe. Yeah, Martinique and Guadeloupe. Kassav, like a lot of artists from Afro-Caribbean music. So I get introduced through hip-hop through that actually. And there was a movie called HIP-HOP, hip-hop, in 1984 in France. So every Wednesday at 4 p.m. this movie goes on TV. And my parents was watching this and I was watching this with them. And I followed the exercise of the speaker, and the MC speaker was Sydney. So 1984. And I was going to hip hop through this movie. And I was doing the exercises, giving like the head spins, the wave. We call this Smurf.
You started out doing head spins?
Yeah, because my parents, like I say, they celebrate every time. So a lot of people came in my house just for that, because they knew that we love so much sharing and having fun. And you got this moment when they celebrate. We have the African music, Cameroonese, West Indies, djembe, salsa, and you have this moment hip hop for the young. So they knew that this is for the young people, and they played this track. So they have a vinyl called Smurf. And actually, my father was always signing the name of the good people that were dancing good on this vinyl, and they played this vinyl every time for me. And he paid me the hat, so I had a hat and the shirt. And when there is this moment, I have to wear this hat and the shirt for dancing on Smurf. And I was doing, we call this break. So we don't have the terms, but we call this break. And I was doing the head spins and the footwork, and yeah.
So do I hear that your parents had their own record collection? Because, back then there wasn't the internet, there wasn't any online sources. So how did they get music?
But they buy vinyl.
By vinyl,
Buy
okay.
vinyls, and yeah, they play vinyl at the house.
Yeah, that's really cool. Within the French scene, what generation of dancer would you say you are for hip hop and house?
There is a first generation. We don't call them the first generation. They are in the transition through jazz, rock, and hip hop. We don't call them really the first generation, but they are really important for the hip hop community in France. Then there is the b-boys and hip hop people, like the rappers and dancers. We call that the first generation. Then you have the second one that come from, we call this hype. So 1987, 1988, and goes to maybe 2000. So we call this the between the second and the third. I think I situate myself into that because I got lucky to be in Paris Center with the OGs and grow up with some of them. But I can consider myself as the second generation. I consider really in between and really get the information at this moment because I was in the right place in the right moment. So I got lucky to grow up with this first and second generation and be in my generation, which is the third one, I think, between the second and third. Yeah.
What was the scene like back then during this generation that you got to participate in? Was it a lot of events or house parties or underground events? Like what was how did you interact with other dancers?
As my experience, I think we got Zulu party because we were into Zulu Nation. Actually, I wanted to be intronized into Zulu Nation because when you were a Zulu, you get the respect. But yeah, people goes to street party in a place named Stalingrad. We had a lot of parties and clubs party, but I can't go actually. So me, I was doing this in the street, with these people that goes in the party and in this Zulu party.
You can't go because you were too young. Okay,
yeah, I was too young.
What? How old were you during this time period?
8.
Oh wow, 8. Yeah, that's really young.
8. Yeah, but I got lucky somehow, like 5 years after, or 7 years after, to go to party, but with one Black Panthers. Yeah, because we got Black Panthers also. And in France, you can go in a party if you are co-opted with someone knows someone in the front or being a part of a great crew. You can come in a party, and I got lucky to go in a party. I was really, really young. Yeah. And through that, we got informations, and I got, lucky to embrace what they do in the clubs, what they do in the Zulu party. The Zulu party was outside too, was in the street. So we do double Dutch, DJing. We do chach. We call this chach. That was actually rapping, and we love so much ragamuffin. It's a West Indies way to rap. We say dancehall today, but we call this ragamuffin before. And in France, that was really super famous. And graffiti. But the most famous was graffiti that I remember was really writing, and rap. Dancing was after. That's how I feel.
The styles and the culture has obviously stuck with you and been a huge part of your life. What did it feel like first getting into either that Zulu party or these first events? And is the reason that you're still in it the same reason that attracted you originally?
Um, yeah, actually, I can say yes because my brothers that brought me there, they try to show me, but we try to living this than just bringing me and showing me this. We really live the moment, you know. We want to spend our time to do something positive. That was the message before. Do something positive. Don't waste your time to. Yeah. So my brothers bring me there just to really develop my potential.
And considering that this was in Paris, was there already any influences from America or from New York at the time, or was it just his own separate thing?
Yes, of course, because we try to say yo, and this term yo was really important for us, you know, because yo, it's Spanish. And when you say yo, was like, oh, you in the move. Yo, my brother. So when we say yo, it's like you are myself and myself I'm you. So yo is means you and me. Yeah. So that was really, really important to me, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what other elements was really important during this time?
I think the spirit. When you get the spirit of the street dance and the Zulu way, like the Zulu attitude, then you can read the because the Zulu has the letter infinity, you know, and in the letter infinity there is some right inside that condition your life, you know, and we all respect that. And I grew up into this mentality to really do something positive and like don't do something negative every day. Going to school, be a good person, help the community, and yeah, do something with nothing. So for me, yeah, that was really important to be into it and really develop this. The other element was what I say: writing, graffiti, rap, dancing, double dutch was really important, and playing basketball. I remember playing basketball was also important. Football was there, like soccer, because we call soccer in France, but yeah, football was there too, but basketball was really something important because at this time, like I say, 87, 88, Michael Jordan was an element really important for us. He was a black person that bring all our black community into somewhere. We believe on something. Or in some Michael Jordans, and that was the raise of Michael Jordan. Yeah.
So, in some ways, he gave everyone something to look towards or believe in, and raised the reality ceiling of it.
Yeah, because Jordans brings the rappers. Jordans brings Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson too was there, but Jordan was special because he was doing anything. He do the shoes. The shoes was something, you know, really special. You know, you had to wear this Kango hat, but when Jordans come, you gotta get the shoes though. You got shoes, you got pants, you got a sweet, and they're rapping. You got MTV rap coming up too. You know, it was really special.
So, how did you eventually make it over to New York? Because I know New York is a big chapter in your journey too.
New York was there since the beginning. We knew about this city. We talk about America, and one city was just New York. We heard about Los Angeles. We don't say really LA. We say Los Angeles. But that was, yeah, NYC, New York. And in New York, we knew that in the Bronx, you got a Zulu chapter. I don't know if it were in the Bronx, actually. And you got B-boys over there. You got graffiti writer over there. And the place named 5 Points. Yeah, everybody wants to go there. And yeah, so we get attracted by New York. But me, I got introduced to New York because of the dancing, and also I wanted to meet the people I was watching on TV, actually. The dancers I was watching me beside the singer. And we all heard that they were from New York. So New York was the place to go. And as I get the money, my teacher, my big, they say, yeah, you have to go over there. If you're really interested about the culture, you have to go in New York. So my first time was 2001. And we organized this with my brothers, Uka, Ludovic, Yuxon, Babson.
So they all came with you too?
Yeah, we do the same travel. And for most of us, that was the first time too. Babson came before with his crew, a dance company. But we go together 2001. That was really special. So me, I won a special prize in my city named Adolescence. And this prize was to pay a ticket to fly out.
Was that a dance competition that you won? Or?
No, that was a competition for the young kids in my neighborhood. And the mayor, I won this prize. So I was happy to buy a ticket from that price. And the day before taking the plane, like 2 days before, my passport was expired. Listen, that true story. So the company, like the city hall, knew about that, but everybody knows that was one of my dreams to go in the States, you know. So they go into the instance that can make a passport in one day. And they make my passport in 1 day. And I receive my passport in my letter. And I can go to USA. That was like written that I have to go over there, you know. And I thanked my people that my first travel was a success, actually.
Wow. Can you imagine if that trip never happened?
Man.
How different your life might be.
Shit. Oh, yeah. I can tell.
So upon first landing in New York, did you already have friends here? Did you know people here? Like, how did you navigate an entirely new country and new place?
That was so special. We don't speak so much English because we've been learning this from the school and from, I can say, rap. But we already got connection with dancers over there. So for us, that wasn't really easy, but that was easy to find spot and place to go through the dancer. But we were looking for only one crew, was Elite Force, Mop Top, and Misfits, and Dance Fusion.
How did you hear of those crews back then?
In France, we have a man called Tamaki. We will bring the American culture in France. He was a student, actually, and he came from Japan. And Tamaki spread to us the knowledge through Dance Delight, which is like one of the best competition in Japan. And in this competition, you have a lot of crew from Japan dancing hip-hop and house. And also, you can see through this competition the showcase from Dance Fusion, Elite Force, Electric Boogaloos, Lockers, like everybody. So we got connected through Tamaki about the dancer, about the knowledge through these videos that he was sharing to us. And we knew the name of everybody, you know. We knew the crew name also from Japan, like Roots and others. We knew the name of Caliph, Skeeter Rabbit, Mr. Wiggles, Fable, Ken Swift.
During the time that you came, was that after Wrecking Shop got released, or was that before?
We didn't know about Wrecking Shop, actually.
Okay.
Wrecking Shop came definitely after. The first videos that all we saw was Dance Delight. Wrecking Shop came lately after, for real. But we knew that there is a video in black and white where you see New York dancers doing real good shit, you know. But we don't know about Wrecking Shop. Wrecking Shop came really, really after.
Okay, so you're in this new city for the first time, and you're meeting up with people that you've only heard about or maybe already know
So,
through long distance, right?
mm,
Uh, how was experiencing the culture and the dance in person? Was it similar to what you were already experiencing in France, or was it completely different?
no, that was, I mean, similar. Yeah, I can say, because the only thing is you are in USA, so everybody was happy, and even when you take the taxi, everything was big. Like the cab is big, the house is big, the projects is big, the studio, the hotel, everything was big. I'm like, yo, finally we find a country we got our size. So everything was huge and big for us. So we cannot say that was different, but this was really different. But when you meet people, when you speak with them, when you exchange with them, even the party was the same as Paris. Everybody have fun. They come in a good and positive attitude. They share. You can tell, you have a safe space as the same in Paris in the club. Yeah.
Yeah, what are some memorable times from your trips over there, or even on that trip? Was it seeing certain dancers for the first time, or just being in like legendary places that you heard about?
Yeah, so we go to famous studio, and through the famous studio we met the dancers that say, oh, there's a party here, there's a party here, there's a spot here, or you can meet them here. So we just noticed and brought the space and where we can meet dancers, and we go. That's it.
Yeah, one of my first times to New York, one thing that really stuck out to me was it's like everybody there, it's in their blood, right? Not in a studio like, oh, I practice this or I train this. It's
Mhm.
like you could go to the park and the guys at 7-Eleven is like just getting down or something.
Oh yeah, that was fun. But that time that was March. We were in March, April, I think.
Okay.
So not a lot of people outside except the roller skate people. We went in West 4 also, Canal Street, Manhattan. We didn't do Harlem so much, just for shopping, but not really in the studio. Not Bronx too. Just one goes to the Bronx and met KRS One, I remember. And we were in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was the place to be. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, who are some of your teachers for hip hop or house, and what are some of their influences on you?
In France, we say big, like the term is ton grand. Ton grand, it's the definition of big. We don't say really teachers, it came after. My big is, first of all, was Laurent and Loic. Laurent and Loic were my big because they care about me, about lifestyle, more than just dancing. And they care about me about lifestyle. So they were teaching me all about the lifestyle and my potential to develop. I remember that was really, really, really good. Then through them, I got lucky to meet Joseph Go, Christian, Joseph Go, Laurent, Loic, and through them, Joseph brought me in Paris because I was living in Paris. I go in a suburb, and Joseph re-brought me to Paris in the same spot I was living. That was really super strange. And I had the chance to meet the same people I was growing when I was young through Joseph. My life is so strange. It's like an 8. And the same people I was growing was the owner of the first program of dancing for hip hop. And through Joseph, I got lucky to meet Tony Mascott, which is one of the Black Panther, the first guy who make a program for hip hop dancer. He got one of the best dance company. And I was in his young company of his best company named Sans Rancune. His best company was 1.2. And through 1.2, we got lucky to learn the foundation, the spirit, the dances, locking, jazz rock, b-boying, tap, hip hop, house, jazz. Yeah. Yeah. We got lucky to learn all of that. And through that, I got lucky after to meet Popin Taco, because Popin Taco was the godfather of the school of Tony Mascot. So I got lucky to learn with Popin Taco.
Was that when he went to Juste Debout in France?
Juste Debout doesn't exist at this moment.
Oh, okay.
He came like really after.
Okay, got it.
So that was 1996, 97, 98. So we came like really after. And after, I got lucky to be with David Collar. So David Collar is a b-boy dancer that can tap too. Damn, was really lucky. And through Tony Mascot, I got lucky to learn from women, like the Ladies' Night. We call her the Ladies' Night. Ladies' Night were the dancers, women dancers, that doing double dutch and hip hop on stage. And they were the first ladies to dance for the Black Panthers and in the big concert like Big Daddy Kane and many organizations like AZB, who organize like Live Nation now. AZB was an agency that organized a lot of great concerts. So I got lucky to learn from them also. They were around me, you know. So for me, it's a kind of learning that way too, spiritually actually. And after I got lucky to, through them, learn from Actual Force, Gabin, Karim. Karim, rest in peace. It's not there now, so it was really important for me. Karim Gabin and Pascal Blaise also from Actual Force. Many people, man, like if I have to mention many like this, was really crazy. I got lucky to learn from Fable, Mr. Wiggles, Skeeter Rabbit, Pete, also Brian Green, Jazzy J, Storm, Nasty, Carl, Khalifa, Cisco. There was so many, like, because our crew were unify a lot of crew. Because Tony is a federator. He federate a lot of people. And these people came in our studio. And every time they come, they share with us. And me, I was like Spongy Bob. I take anything they give me. Like for granted, like for free. And yeah, I thank them really a lot because everything they gave me right now, I can tell I'm using this like so much. Like in the musicality, in the form, and how the way I share it also to my student is crazy.
So the vibes I'm getting is you definitely had a lot of teachers to the point where it was really just learning from their entire culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell, and I thank my teacher and people. I mentioned a lot, but I maybe missed some. But I thank them for spending that time with me and give me a lot, because really, I can tell that right now, that was really precious. And it's really precious for me.
Yeah. So I'm curious about like things as they travel from one place to another, it naturally changes, right? Because it's going away from its source and it's just impacting more people, right? So would you say that Europe or France has unique elements or contributions to the culture of dance versus other places? Like I'm sure, there's a certain element that is represented in America. There's a certain element that's represented in Japan. So what would you say is the unique element or unique contributions of France?
France is special because you got Arabian people, you got African people, like black people, you got Jewish people, you got Chinese, Japanese, Polynesian. You got a lot of people in this country that really come from the country. And they all know where they're from. Not like in America, some of the black people doesn't really know where they're from. I think that's in a point unique in the expression. And you can tell in the expression, oh, friends bring this. I remember when I came in the cypher with Archie Burnett and Will Ninja was there, I remember. in the party of Brian Green named House Dance Conference. And Archie comes to me and he say, "You from Africa, because the way you're moving, you got this groove that an African has, not like us, you know." So it reminds me that, yeah, I agree. I agree, actually, yeah. Yeah, I think that it's a good point to bring, especially for b-boying, for example, where you got a lot of Arabian, Algerian, Tunisian people. They bring something on the floor really special. When I see Nabil, his touch is special. Karim, his touch is special. When I'm seeing even Meno, it's not from Arabian or Tunisian, but his touch is special. When I see Storm, his touch is special. I think we got this thing that we got a special touch that we don't really work on, that friends bring, into the musicality too. Because even in the musicality too, we bring Afro-Caribbean musicality, which is different than the funk and disco, So for me, that this make friends different also. Like, I don't say unique, but that make it, the friends, different than us. Yeah.
So you brought up a lot of really interesting points. Help me understand, what is the funk musicality or the Afro-Caribbean musicality? What does that mean?
But for me, it means that there's a period in the timeline that music influenced the world, I cannot say that since the day zero, you got this musicality and after you got this musicality, but when you see the timeline, you can tell who influenced who, and everything is assemblé, like is adding to something. When you hear the music from Africa Bambaataa, Planet Rock, that influenced the world because Bambaataa got a genius. It was genius to bring electronic music with the drums that we use and the jazz and the funk that we use in the 70s, But Afro-Caribbean music was almost the same. Like when we create zouk, which is like the jazz from New Orleans, because zouk for me it's a jazz actually. It's a jazz. We don't call jazz, but zouk is a jazz, it's a form of jazz. So we bring something on the timeline and we make a moment when in Cameroon, like my country, you had Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kosa also. We got a certain groove also that we brought and the rhythm with we call this the nkul, exactly like that. This table is with a tree. And we have a certain musicality, certain sounds go, and we put something on the timeline of the, the music. So for me, it's important to say that funk is a part of the timeline. Disco is a part of the timeline. Afro-Caribbean music is a part of Brazilian music also, or Spanish music, Yeah, for me, there's also a moment in this timeline.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is I've talked to other folks and there's differing opinions about some place, whether it's Asia or Europe or France, right, doing anything new or doing the same thing that they're doing over here. By over here, meaning America and specifically New York, right? And so I was just curious, not that my eyes can see a difference, because when I look at European dancers, it seems really different to what I see here. But then I hear other folks saying, "Oh no, it's actually the same thing. It's this other thing that maybe you haven't seen, but that's also from America." So I just want to,
yeah, but like I said, that's why I don't use the term unique.
Okay.
This is for this reason. I want to take like a distance. When we say we create something, it's from our art. But we all know that there is maybe someone in another place or space that also do the same thing. And just for that, I try to take a distance. Yes, I create it from my heart, but I know that there is maybe someone somewhere that maybe do the same thing. And for this, I accept that someone comes to me and say, "Hey, man, maybe you should know that in this space, they already create the things you do. So it's all good. I mean, for me, yeah. As the moment as it comes from the heart, I understand,
Yeah, what do you feel like is the state of the current scene in Europe or France nowadays? Because I know that's like all the biggest events are in Europe, right? And I don't see anything of that caliber, that level in America, even though a lot of this stuff started over here. You know,
Mm.
do you feel like the culture is thriving, or is there any element that's overshadowing the other aspects?
From my experience, we try to turn the spot, like the camera, in a different spot because the camera was in America. And I remember when I create the project or Trip House, for example, I say I'm doing this for the people that gave me, so people from France, Africa, and America, to contribute. But also I want that people around the world knows that you can turn the objective to France, which is really interesting to turn this objective to France and say, okay, in France, we have culture, we have community, but also we have help from the government in somehow, because the young politic for the youth, and the cultural politic is with us, not like in different other country. And because of that, and because of my OGs and the new generation, we do like 3 or 4 events a week. And because of these 3 or 4 events a week, our level goes up. Because of the dancer going in Germany back in the day and say, France, we have a culture, watch, we can win. We can do many things, like the actual force goes in 1995 in Battle of the Year. They were so special. And people knows, oh, okay, in France there is something. And 10 years after, we organized one of the best events for top dancer, one of the best events for b-boying. Wow. And people now, all the people right now, like in 2024, they all want French people going in their event. So we turn the objective to us because we work for that so much. We go to take information, we battle against the best, like really against the best. We get recognition from the OGs abroad and in the country. We make a lot of things to turn this objective. But I can't say that the community and the dance decline. I'm just saying that what is the next spot? If we want to keep going, so we have to give good class. We have to understand more the culture. If we just organize event and just have a winner and the winner is going to teach, then the culture is going to decline for sure. We don't link the OGs with the new Gs, and we don't continue the legacy, which is not a French legacy, which is a world legacy that born in the Bronx and in America and in Africa and in different spots in Japan. And if we think like that, I don't think the culture is going to decline, but it's going to continue and maybe change the spot. Like for me, an example, I think, China can be another spot, because China organize a lot of events now. And you can see the young kids over there. They are really, they want it.
Yeah, I talked to some judges, and they were telling me, I forgot which event, but it's a Chinese event, right? And they were saying, man, today I judge 1,000 dancers.
Yeesh. I remember Popping Pete told me, Meech, they got 1,200 dancers and popping. I was like, how you can judge 1,200 popping dancer? Oh my God. Yeah, this is too much, but that means that they're hungry and they want this thing. So no, I can say that it's gonna decline. It's just the spot change. Everybody want to come in France now for this different reason, and I think it might changing because the new generation is not just in the country. The new generation can be in another country, and the objective is gonna turn in this country. That's how I feel now.
Okay. Yeah. Well said. What other countries besides America and France have you traveled to that really gave you good insight into the culture?
Yeesh. My first favorite country is Cameroon because the vibe I got with my uncle and my family, my mother, my sister, my nephews, my niece, especially my niece, was really great. My aunt bring me in different space when I can discover these 240 dance we have in Cameroon.
240 dances?
No, 200 tribe and different dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, because every tribe has its own dance in Cameroon. And we had like 224, maybe more, So that was fabulous. That was, wow, a big remember for me. The second country is South Africa with Vaya Katlong, Mamen Vusi. Wow, that was really special to go in this country with a strong history about, the problem with not the slavery, but, the colonized and Africans, and they have a strong history over there. And how they create a dance to manifest that they don't like what happened. Like in America, they create crime too because of O.J. Simpson and all this, the riot, and that was really something really important in my life, to be over there and to touch, to share, and the way they shared to me was really a great experience. That really touched me. I still have the goosebumps when I'm thinking about the moment we share over there. Was really great. Yeah, and that was great for me.
What do you think about the music coming out of South Africa?
The music coming over there?
Yeah.
For me, you got different music in South Africa. The most famous that everybody here is like Afro House, is Amapiano. You have Kwaito music. You also have this music they use in the church, which called Zion. It's like gospel, actually. Wow. It elevates you. Woo! Somewhere in space.
Really? Like, interesting. Yeah, I've heard of Afro House and Avant Piano, but I have not heard of Zion.
Yeah, Zion is, I think, is the space when people go to pray.
Okay.
And they sing over there.
Okay.
And you got these people walking like this, like they're walking. Oh, it's, wow, special. But I do love the way they sing when they do the Zulu traditions. Yeah, they stomp the floor and they try to speak with the people in the floor, like the people who died, and show respect. So they stomp the floor, boom, and they move, whoosh, boom.
This is all happening in church?
No, it's outside. This is another
okay.
thing, yeah. I call this Zulu traditions. And they stomp until they fall on the floor. But when they fall, it's because the ancestors respond and they fall to say, okay, we receive your message. That was deep. To me, that was like, oh my God. They have a certain connection with the real and the unreal. I'm like, wow, that's good. That's where a dance can bring you to. All right.
What would you say that like is your worldview when it comes to dance? Worldview meaning, is there a spirituality element in your connection to dance?
What do you mean? I mean, what is the question?
Like, for example, some people are more conceptual, like they have ideas in the mind. And some people are like, when I dance, I'm channeling something, my ancestors or God through the music, right? So what's your connection? What's your worldview in that regard?
When I was young, I've seen my father dancing many times on dance named Bikutsi. And the Bikutsi, it's a urban dance from Cameroon. You can stomp the floor, you shake your shoulder, and there's a moment when you are disconnected. And my father has his head going crazy, but on beat, on the music. And I do remember every time that moment, and everybody in the room be like, woo, it's not with us now. I'm looking for that moment when you dance and the music is so spiritual for you that you are a little bit disconnected. I love, for example, the Sufi. You know Sufi? It's like when you turn like this and like a vortex, and you turn, and there's something coming into the vortex and goes up. Wow. And when you got this moment coming up to you in dance, then you find something more than you and you got the connection. So I can say is spirituality, I can say is connection. Even there is something special that I'm looking for every time when I'm dancing, is this connection with, not just with music, but with my space, with people around me, with the music, with the place also, because a place can inspire you too. People inspire you, and how you create a chemistry with people, that brings you up too. And this vortex, when it's turning in a circle, that brings you up, and you can't explain anything. You do, and you don't try to do. You just do. Whenever what is it is going.
Have you experienced that vortex before? And if so, what was the first time you could recognize you were in that space?
Everybody's talking about that. Like Mish was doing a round. Like the world's gonna talk about that. Then I know, I was there. I remember Juste Debout 2005. I was doing that round, and one of my OGs, Rabat Mafoufi, he's been saying, Mish, every time you dance in the battles, I don't want to be with you when there's a bridge, because every time I dance in a battle, there's always a bridge in the music. I don't know, there's a breakdown or there's a bridge. But actually, when there's the bridge, I'm fire. Like, I don't know, I can explain, but if that moment stop in the music, I will make everybody's gonna stop with me actually. And in that moment, I go crazy. And in 2005, when the music stopped, I do this slow motion in the movement. I was doing a house battle, but I do slow motion because it comes like this. I can explain. Then after I go on the floor, because it comes like this. Then after I do this head spin, because it comes like this. And because of that, people cry for me. They scream and cry for me because I was real. And that was a moment. I cannot say why I was doing this. It's just, that was a moment when people were connected with me, and when I was connected with music, people, and the space. And when you see how this touch people during the world, during the time, even now, 20 years after, people still talking about that, you know. I met people, and they're all telling me, yeah, Mish, I remember 2005, 2004, 2006. I'm like, yo, that was 20 years ago. But they all still remember. So yeah, now you can say, yeah, that was this moment. So when people telling you, yeah, Mish, that moment was yo, that was, yeah, like in 2003, New York. Rest in peace, Marjorie, Brian, Tony McGregor. They all stand up and stop me in this battle, because that was always a moment. And this moment, I stomp on the floor and I still keep going dancing, and Brian comes to me, stop. I was like, yeah, you know, there's moments that you cannot explain, and I can tell that people's talking about that. So when people's talking about that, yeah, I can tell this is, yeah.
Yeah, I know at least one of the clips you're talking about for Juste Debout. It was when it was still inside the gymnasium with the basketball court.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think you were maybe partners with Sandrine or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my partner, Sandrine.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I remember that well, and I definitely played that clip many times.
Yeah,
because you had this look on your face where you're like, "Hey, I'm boss. I'm happy to be here, though."
Yeah, I was really like, "Hey, let's go! Woo, woo!" More people were screaming, more was giving, you know.
Yeah, how do you cultivate practice so you stay connected to the music or stay connected to what's most important to you?
How I practice?
Yeah, how you practice, but also because I think everyone always has an internal compass. Sometimes we lose sight of what the internal compass is because there's so many voices, so many influences that guides us in so many different directions, right? How do you listen to your internal compass and let that lead you?
I don't know, man. What I can tell you is I practice 6 hours a day. When I say practice, like people imagine when you practice, you go in front of a mirror and you do movement as a dancer. But a real dancer doesn't practice by just doing movement. Really, I can feel, I never spoke with them, like Link, even Brian, even Stretch, Rabat, Edie, Ricky Soul. I mean, they practice by listening music. And when you listen music, you're still practicing, to me. It's really important to say that because a lot of people go in a room and think that practicing is this. No, it's a spiritual thing that makes your lifestyle, your movement, and the way you want to use it every day and cultivate it. Like you are responsible of your body and your spirit every day. So you need to every time elevate your body, your spirit every day. It's not just about movement. It's also the way you, like you say, get inspired by. So you go to watch other people. That's the way also you go to take some lesson from other people. Because to be a great teacher, you have to be a great student. That's how I feel. So that elevates yourself into a different level. I think this is the way I practice the most, by learning from my student, especially this last, like I say, 15 years, sorry. 15 years. And I can tell when I see my students right now, they are so different because I have a bunch of students. But my last 15 years, my students are so special to me. Like I can tell they do what they feel more than my first student. They do what they want to do. They are not just dancers, actually. They use dancing to be a great person. They use dancing to building themselves to be a great person. Not everybody is going to be a great dancer. When you come to take class, when you come to studios, when you come to class, when you come to vibe, you're not going to be a great dancer. If you come to be a great dancer, you're not going to be a great dancer. Because a great dancer is a good person. A dancer, like an OG named Alex Bent, told me a great dancer is a good person. So think about that and don't make yourself going down. Don't think that you're a bad person or because you dance bad. No. You're really a great person because you come to dance. Damn, when he told me that, I was like, oh, thank you. I need to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of your experiences or tips that you can offer for how to balance between what you just said, meaning the feeling and the rawness, right, versus the technique? Because I think it's very easy to fall into technique and lose the feeling.
Yeah. So we talk about the street dance culture, okay? The street dance culture for me is based on everything you've been saying. Our technique is with feeling. There's no dance technique I knew from the street dance without a feeling and grooves. If someone comes to you and say, yeah, do techniques without feelings and grooves, you should ask more questions to this person. It never happens since my experience that someone comes to me and show me techniques without feelings and grooves. It's really not that. When you say about rawness, I want to just say about your individuality and your singularity, which is one of my process when I'm dancing and when I'm spreading, when I'm teaching, I want everybody get his own singularity, his own voice in this dance world. So when you come to my class, I will make sure you have fun. I will make sure that you guys, when you come with your own identity, your own level, whatever, if what I show you, you don't get it, I will make sure you have fun. I will make sure when you come out from my class, you will understand the process and you will practice by yourself after my class. That's how I feel as a teacher, and a teacher should give this to their student. It's not to bring someone, the student pay a class, Some students pay, some don't pay. But when they come to have something, for sure. They come for something. Even me, I was coming for something. And when you get what you were looking for, so that means that was not a good class. Because the teacher should bring you into to get your own process, to develop your own singularity and your own identity that you gonna practice and work on. So we give you something like foundations that bring you into the rail, into that voice that people before us already built. So that brings you into our legacy. And from this legacy, you guys continue the voice. We don't know where it's gonna be. And I don't want to know. I mean, maybe I'm not gonna be in this world. I'll be in another world. I'll be watching you like, and this how you be like. This how you be like. But I want to make sure you understand the process. Like this, I can be sure you will continue in a good way. That's how I feel when you teach, when you come to get your own knowledge. And that's how I feel. For me, we have to spread this.
What are some other qualities of a teacher, and when is someone qualified to teach? The reason why I ask that is dance, as far as exposure or visibility to it, seems like it's the most accessible more than ever. You can turn on YouTube, you can do whatever, and you can see it, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go to your local studio, depending on where you live, possibly find great teachers or possibly find not so great teachers, right? So
yeah.
There's obviously a lot of controversy with that because one side is like, oh, they're just spreading the culture. The other side is like, no, but they're actually spreading the wrong information or lowering the level, or it's just a business move. So like, what would you say is you should look for these qualities in your teacher, or teachers should have these qualities?
Yeah, I got you. So to me, a great teacher, like a good teacher, should bring you something a master. You got this kind of teacher that brings you something they just learned, which is a good thing to me. But this teacher has to ask himself or herself. The question is, am I qualified to give this to these people? Because if you teach something that you don't have, so you have, and you will give and you will teach this with weakness. So if you teach this with weakness, so your student will have this with weakness. So actually you will be responsible about the weakness of your student. So if your student comes back to you and tell you and ask you why you give me that information that actually is wrong, because you guys didn't really master, live, practice, and get the right information. Why do you do this? I want never that my student comes to tell me this. But I will be happy if he comes to me and say, okay, maybe you was a little bit weak when you give me that. So to not let this happen. Make sure that you really, really understand what you give to the people. That's why I say a teacher should know the history, master their movement, understand and live the lifestyle of the things you give. Because the people in front of you, they will receive it with spirituality, bodies, with your word, with your movement, and with the musicality. If you give it with the bad musicality, oh my God, this is not good.
By
at
bad
all.
musicality, do you mean being offbeat as the most red flag?
No, because offbeat is a part of the beat, but bad musicality is the good word for me. And if you teach a step with bad musicality, so your student will have a bad musicality.
Yeah, so put into words or paint me a picture of what bad musicality looks like or good musicality for a
For
teacher.
me, for example, when you do the Fresno or you do the Old Man or even a heel toe or a farmer. I was teaching a farmer and I say the farmer is on the beat. It's boom, 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 boom. So you jump on the boom, boom, or you jump on the t, t, t. So mostly in house we say you jump on the t, so on the breath. Okay, and you stomp on the stomp. So boom, t, boom, t, boom, t, t, boom, t, boom, t, or t, boom, t, boom, t, boom, t. But if you do this in betweens, boom, t, boom, t, boom, t, boom, t. So it's bad musicality. If you don't master the musicality, basically, how you can go in different musicality in the basic musicality of the foundations. When you teach the foundation has already their own musicality, which is basic. Then from this musicality, basically, with the foundation, then you can go somewhere else. Then you can create your own musicality because you master the foundation. So when we say foundation, that means that you also have the movement in their form, in their quality, and in their musicality. That's what I mean.
Let's talk about surviving as an artist, meaning there's the artistic aspect, right? So, doing something that's either true to the style or true to the music or true to how you feel inside. And then there's the surviving as an artist. Let's say you get hired for a gig and somebody else wants you to do something, but it may be completely opposite or against who you are as an artist, right? But there's the part of, well, they're paying me money to do this thing, and not everybody has the opportunity to get the right gigs that support them as an artist, right? So, like, what's been your experience surviving as an artist?
I'm the wrong and bad person to talk about that. Let me tell you why I'm telling this. So first of all, I am a lucky person. Like I told you, I got lucky to be in one Black Panthers, one guy who is the first to create program to educate hip-hop dancer in France. I got into and inside one of the best crew in France. And I got almost the best dancer in France from this generation. So by learning from these people, I got lucky to go into the work. I was at least 16 years old. I got my first contract 16 years old. And since that day, I'm still working right now, and I'm 43 now. So it's been almost 30 years I'm working non-stop. And I had never a problem about that. So because of them, I'm here. So I can not really tell you, of course we had like the mountains, emotionally. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I every time work with a dance company. Because I make sure as a dancer and my teachers, make sure that I will every time be recommend to dance as a work. So they let me doing tap, jazz, locking, popping, hip hop, waving. Like I do many dance styles. And they knew I would be a professional dancer. I don't know how, but I think they knew it. Because as right now, I'm working in all this aspect of the form of dancing. And more about that. When I was learning DJing when I was 12, I was scratching because that was about that time. We got the DMC, we got the ITF from UK. But right now I'm creating music, and I'm working by creating music for people now, for artists, for creators, for big brand, and I'm still also working for that right now because my people knew also because I was rapping, I was beatboxing, I was vocals too because I did gospel too. Oh my God, I'm lucky. That's why I'm not, I think, the good person to talk about how surviving about dancing, because I got lucky to really work every time, in my life. And also I make sure that I can have a lot of works by educating myself, to take risk, to learn from the young, learn from the dance that I am not comfort, still continue to discover a different way to dance, different approach, different techniques. I still go to school, I still go to university to take information and knowledge. I still educate myself. And because I keep evolving, educate myself, I think I will continue to prepare the next work I'm going to have, Right now I'm working with the opera.
You're working with opera?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, amazing.
And I did choreo for the opera too. So I got like 100 dancers with me on stage.
Wow.
80 people been singing and 40 musicians that I have to lead and choreograph, you know what I'm saying? Which is really crazy, But I didn't know I will choreograph an opera. It's so big. As a street dancer, it's so huge and big,
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I think it's definitely a unique position that you're in. Also, in some ways, the theme of what I hear you saying is you're continuously improving yourself, continuously expanding your art form so that you can be adaptable and flexible into different positions.
Exactly.
Which allows you to, in a lot of ways, survive as an artist because you're not just boxed into one thing only, right? Because that one thing may really come in or it may get phased out for whatever reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because you have these other skill sets, you're adapting to what's happening in the times. Is that?
Yeah, exactly, man. You say it is well, actually. The fact by adapting myself in different forms, that makes my work like into a longevity. Like right now, I come back to my first love, which is basketball. And I'm a coach of basketball too. And right now I try to connect and rely these two stories of my life, being a coach and being a choreographer as a dancer, and how I can create exercise to develop the individuality, skills, techniques of a dancer and of a basketball player, men and women, which is really crazy, Then I can, link different form, which is, for me, basketball is an art. It's not just a sport. If you take a sport as a art, so you live this passion very differently. I think, to make your heart, to make your work into longevity, you have to develop your own adaptability. You have to improve yourself way more than just doing just one style, but open your mind to different art form, especially the form that you are not really comfort. And right now, I want to tell to the young generation, even for the old generation too, tomorrow is technologic. What we gonna do? That's my questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So you give me like so many things I could talk about. We can sit here endlessly. But speaking of tomorrow, you can't talk about tomorrow without talking about AI, right? So
Let's go.
Yeah. What's been your exposure to AI as far as like, have you seen what it can do nowadays and the rate of improvement that it has? Because just even maybe a year and a half ago, AI generated videos or images looked like garbage, right?
Yeah.
But now most people, unless you were told it's AI, you might not be able to tell.
Yeesh.
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, for me, it's the evolution, actually. And Me, I believe a lot of science fiction movies that we saw, because for me it's like the deformation of the real information, especially from the military information. I think that tomorrow we will have a robot dancing in front of us. That's how I feel. So how can we keep our art form vibrant and connect with the AI, for example? How can we think about that? Because we have a lot of issue between our art form. Yeah, he's doing right, or he doesn't have the legitimacy. Or why you vote for him in a battle, or he's not able to teach it, anything. But we got the AI right now coming out, and we have these little things, which is really ego. The AI is coming really hard to me. Let's think about how future and how next generation, which is really into that, phones, and learn dancing in 15 seconds. Example for TikTok, yeah. TikTok unify families during COVID, because you can see families dancing together during COVID, and that was so fabulous. I love it so much. You can see it. But for the culture, it was destroying in somewhere else. Because you can see different people doing well, got a lot of views, and you can see people who got legitimacy got just only 20 views. Because it was too hard, too technically high level, which is destroying us. So I want to think about that. I want to ask the question to my community: how can we reinvent with the AI, for example, that this stay into our legacy, that we see something very good and it gets what is supposed to have, I want to think about that.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the dance videos turn into an AI video?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Link had one that went really well.
Yeah. There's many, like I say, there's many good things. And I really love it. Me, I want to think about that, and I'm working about that.
Yeah. To anyone that missed out on my episode with Buddha Stretch, if you're using AI, which I really recommend everyone at least be aware of it, be informed of what it can do, even if you choose not to use it, because it's always good to know what's coming, right? But if you do use it, definitely fact check. So the reason why is sometimes I'll go on ChatGPT and I'll look up different people before they come on the interview, just because I'm curious about what does AI know about this person, And for such as episode, I looked up Buddha Stretch on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It said Buddha Stretch was a hip hop dancer, blah blah blah, which makes sense. Then it got to a point where Stretch passed away in 2020. I was like, what the? And I was like,
which
whoa.
is definitely, which is fun. Yeah. It can change a lot of things, but I'm not scared. What I want to tell to everybody, I'm not scared about the AI. I'm not scared about it.
Yeah, I guess this goes hand in hand with what you mentioned earlier about being adaptable and evolving with new environments or new changes that's happening, right? Did you go through anything that gave you that mindset, or was it something that you kind of always had? Because I think it's very common and even easy to be an expert in something and maybe get older with time in that field, but be discouraged to be a beginner in something else, right? And then that kind of just limits your mentality and limits your options too. So like, how did you be okay with just learning so many new things and going through the beginner process again?
I got you. My last beginning process is electro dance. It's a project named Capsule. Electro dance is a dance created in a club by French dancer. First of all, I come to this community because it's close by me, and I want to teach to my student and open more the mind of my people. When you got a dance create close by you, stay open. Don't go to a place 6,000 miles away. Then you have a dance close by to you and you don't learn it.
By electro dance, do you mean tectonic?
We don't say tectonic.
Okay.
This is electro dance.
Okay.
Tectonic is the brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was famous because we heard the name tectonic. Yeah, it's good that people knows that it's electro dance.
Okay.
Danse electro. I'm so happy to go to show my respect to this community. First of all, I want to teach them that a OG can come and learn that things. And it's really important that we continue to link the OGs and the new Gs. It's really important that my students see that in my age, you can still go and learn. For me, it's a kind of showing the way to keep improving yourself. And for that, it's not just by staying in my own dance, it's also to go to discover other dance. But as for me, myself, I have a great pleasure to be a beginner. Like it's so good for me, like, you know, to learn. But I used to do that since a long time, man, because I keep go to take classes, and it's good for me. It's a good feeling, for real. That makes me, when I come back to my own dancing, when I feel really comfort, that makes me more free. But the best thing is when I'm teaching. When I'm teaching, I think I'm a better person because I'm doing a dance which I'm a beginner. So when I'm watching a beginner now, I'm like, I know what you feel. I know exactly what you feel. I will make sure that you have fun first. Because if I want first, businessly, if I want you to come back, you will come back with a good remember that I had fun in this class. And
Yeah,
this
there's
guy
a
was
saying
good.
that people don't remember what you tell them. They remember how you make them feel.
Exactly. So we call this the muscle memory. It's not just about the highs, but the muscle memory will remind you that I remember this class, I have fun. For the experience of the people in front of me, it's important for me that these people, when they think about hip hop, house, crump, African dance, Cameroonese, Bikutsi, Asiko, they be like, oh, this experience was so good, 3 hours nonstop. They think that the class was 20 minutes. I remember my last class, like yesterday, or people be like, oh, it's already done? Yeah, it is. It is. We want more. Okay, so come next time. You know? But this experience was, that means that the experience was good, And we did like maybe 30 steps in this class, but the experience was so good, was so nice, Yeah, I want people to get a great experience, and the muscle memory is really important.
Yeah, so let's talk about going back to surviving as an artist, right?
Ish.
And how do you advocate for the respect of the artist? Because it seems like to me other art forms, other physical art forms are highly respected, but when it comes to dance, which in my opinion, it's one of the most difficult physical art forms.
Yeah.
But the respect for the dancer is very low compared to, let's say, if you're like, oh, I'm a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone's like, oh, wow, right?
Yeah.
But if you say you're a dancer, everyone's like, okay, well, do you have a real job?
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I can tell that for the people, but it's in the mentality of the OGs actually. And I think in all countries, it's not just about France, America, or Africa. Yeah, I think for the normal people, to be a dancer is not a job. It's not a job that I can respect. Or for different country, dancing is for women. Wow. So painful for the men, And for a different country, like France, we got respect for the dancers, at least, because in the history we had the chance to have a king. We were a dancer. And this king created an academy and create ballet, and
Which king was this again? Was this
I
Louis
think
XIV?
Louis 14 or 16, I think. Yeah. And because of that, actually, and because we had an academy and an organization, a cultural organization, government taking care of us, we got the respect as a job in France. And they create space and place for us, which is a real good thing, I think. But yeah, I think it's in the mentality of different country that dancing is a respect job. But what I want to say to the people, because we are on a podcast now, I want to talk to the singer. I want to talk to the producer too. To the brand. Yes, dancing brings something fun, something that brings movement to make sure that your brand's going to be selling in stores, be selling on TV, and give to the normal people the envy to go to buy this. And you call a dancer to make sure that people can watch how they can use it in a movement, you know. But beside the dancer, there's a human people behind. There's human, different kind of people, different genre of people. Multiply the emotion of people that are behind the form that you pay for, you know. And I want to let them know that behind this form that you buy, please make sure that there's human people behind this. So don't use us, work with us. Like really work, think with us. Because we can bring a lot of good ideas. And it's not because we are a dancer that we cannot work for a program development company or electronic company. We can work for you because we have this thing to be creative every day, and our form can develop your things, believe me. And this for me is the future. The future is you can cross between art, between a car creator can work with a dancer. It's just, don't think that dancer is just for dancing. That's how I think.
Okay, I see. So you're saying see the potential and the human behind these movements and not just take the movements at face value.
Yes, exactly.
What's been your experience working in the industry as far as with commercial artists? Is it something that you've always dreamt of doing? Is it been difficult because maybe the industry doesn't support you in the right ways? Because I hear mixed stories. Some people get treated really well. Other people are like, you gotta protect yourself in the industry.
No, for me that was very good. I mean, I got connected with the industry. I was really young. I danced for a group named Kassav, and I got a chance to work with Sony Music, and a lot of brand too, ASICS, Nike, Adidas, Movies, TS3 Prod, Live Nation. You know, I got lucky to work with these people in the industry, working with them, and that was pretty well, actually. I don't want to talk about myself like rudely, but I think I can do more. That's how I feel. And in different countries, your heart can be underrated. I think in France, I'm not calling a lot because I would say the community of the industry doesn't know my work well. You know what I'm saying? So I got lucky to dance for a great artist, Ayana Kamura, Matt Pokora, Kesav, Science Super Crew, and many other artists. But not a lot as I wanted. But it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's not my time. And I think and I hope my time is gonna come soon. Right?
If you had if you could play out a fantasy, what would your ideal artist that you want to work with, like a commercial artist?
Yeesh. I don't want to say commercial, but Busta Rhymes will be the one I want to work with.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
When I say commercial, I don't mean like they're artistic quality. I mean like they're just reached mass acceptance. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Busta Rhymes. Oh my God. Meek Mill, Travis Scott, Young Thug, Beyonce. Yeah, Missy Elliott for sure. Actually, I like Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is whoa, cray. I love her. Right now, Doechii is crazy. Woo, Doechii is good. And I like Lotus. Lotus is good too. Wow, there's many. There's many because the music they do touch me a lot, and actually I'm using their music to teach to my student and dance on. Every time I do a show, there's a Meek Mill in, there's Busta Rhymes in. I make beats, there's Busta Rhymes in. Of course. Yeah, would like to work with this artist.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on mumble rap?
I love it.
You really?
I love mumble rap, bro. I'm
Yeah.
like, in France, we got actually they love old school rap. They love trap music. They love mumble rap. I mean, I talk about the young generation. My generation loves Detroit music. They loves it so much. JD, Ella J, Black Milk. They are into it. They are into New York music too. Nas, Noriega, a lot of New York music. Me, I'm into continue the legacy still into the rap music. I like Run DMC. I like Belle Beef Devo, Fushnikens, La Native Tongue. I like Fugees. I like the Flip Mode Squad. I like Keith Murray. I love these people, and I love also Madlib, Quasimodo, Wild Child. I like this underground rap music, but I love too mumble rap, Migos, Lil Pump. Woo!
What do you? Okay, so you might be the first person I know that is enthusiastic about it, which has me curious because you have so much music exposure. What do you feel when you listen to mumble rap? Like, is it like a very casual, fun vibe, or like is it putting you in a certain mood? Like, how does it keep your attention?
I think it's fun. The way they turn the verse and the rhythm of the verse is different than the rap from the New York style or ATL style, or it's different. When I hear bop, boom, dum 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 dum, the 808, boom 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 boom, or the music from Memphis. It's different. I love the vibe they create through the New York style, through. So you got the message, and you got mumble rap. I mean, I don't say it's bad. I think it's the evolution. Not a lot of mumble rap is good, for sure, but the concept, the flow, is crazy. It's like when you hear a Fushniken, oh, you be like, oh, what is that? Or you hear a Busta and be like, it's like, woo! And when you hear mumble rap, be like, it's, yeah. I love the vibe. It's different. So that make my body respond in another way.
I see. So that's really interesting. You're giving me a new perspective on how to hear it, right? Because I was hearing it for the lack of words, but you're hearing it more so, if I understand you right, like hearing someone scat or something like that, where it's like the beat and the rhythm and flow of it, and disregarding the words there.
Yeah, of course, but of course I'm French, so most of us doesn't understand what they say. But of course, like I say, not a lot of mumble rap is good. Not a lot of rap music also is good. The message is definitely important, most def. But yeah, I don't want to say that I don't like because of the words. I don't want to say because of some artists that really doing bad. No, I love it so much. I love the concept. So please continue to create. The creativity for me is this I have to encourage,
Yeah. So speaking of create, what is your creative process? So, for example, like take me from learning something new to practicing it to being able to use it to express yourself. Because I think there's two different directions of expression, right? One is you learn something and you're expressing what you learn.
Yeah.
The other is you learn something and you're using what you learn to express yourself.
Sure.
Yeah. So what's your creative process?
Dream.
Okay.
My dream is my creating process. Every time I dream about something, I try to make it realize. Like I post a message on my Instagram, never forget to dream. I say this to my students because the dream is actually the beginning point key, You have the inspiration in front of you, which is the departure. But what is your dream? Because your dream is going to make it happen. The dream is going to give you the point to go to practice, the point to go to get to attempt your objective, The dream is also what you want to go, where you want to go, I want to go to NBA. My dream is to go to WNBA, WVNBA, Or for a woman, I want to dance with Justin Timberlake. That's my dream. I want to dance for a famous artist. I want to be in this movie, and maybe I want to create the next movie of house dancer. There's a lot of movie for stomp, for crump, for hip hop. I want to create a movie for house dancer. I want to make people dance house for decade, like street dancer. I want to create the next movie. That's my dream. Yeah. So the dream is, I think the guidelines, to bring you. That's my process actually.
Oh, okay. What are some dreams that you had play out and have come true?
Go to USA. That's one of my dreams. Play basketball in USA. I did it.
Oh, did you? Like on a team over
in
here?
Trenton? I did 1 month, but that was enough to say I achieved my dream. What else? Be in a movie, American productions.
Yeah, what movie was this again?
Free dance.
Okay.
Yeah. Dance for famous artists. Won a major battle. Choreographer for an opera.
Yeah, what is that like choreography for the opera? Like that's probably one of the most unique things I've heard from a dancer of your background,
Yeah. Wow, that was special. That was really special. So we had this meeting with the music director and I would say the history director too. So you got the music director and you got the we call them metteur en scène, which is a director of the story.
Okay.
Of the opera. And when you got the whole situation, like with all the assistants, so you have the music assistant, you have the story assistant, and me, I had my own assistant too. And after you have the assistant of the assistant, then you have the technique assistant, and you have the music choral gospel assistant. I mean, you got a lot of people in the team.
Did you have your own director's chair with your name on it?
I take the chair of the music director. No, but actually, I wasn't responsible of all of them. My responsibility was just about choreograph the dance of a 2 hour and 30 minute.
The whole show is 2 hours 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we had this meeting to organize this 1 year before. And during that 1 year, we make the production. We had like maybe 8 dates. Yeah, 8 gig. And yeah, it's tough because you on work during all the year is really intense. You really have to drive. You have really to make your team focus on one objective. So bring the singularity into one objective. Care about the team Not just care about the movement and the choreo you're giving, but make sure that your team is unified to be at the moment together. So it's not just only to ask your team to do what you want to do. It's to realize being what you want to do is different. The process is totally different, And some of them have to be comedian and some of them have to sing at the same time too. So you have to direct in the movement all that different people, and you got soloist people into. So you have to care also about the soloist, the movement on stage, the direction where they go out, what is the word they're gonna say. So, wow, it's tough. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Would you say that's one of your more unique dance gigs?
No, there's different unique place for that, yeah. But for me, the more unique place is the street.
Okay. How was the show received in the end?
It was nice. It was a really great experience. I really, really have a great experience by doing this. I was actually proud, really proud, because I did not imagine I can do it, actually. And these people is going to call me. I'm so happy to realize that in my career.
Yeah, amazing. Let's talk about some of the criteria that you personally uphold or should be held for judging a contest or judging a battle.
Yeesh.
Yeah, because I think it can vary between judges, right? And it's not always obvious what their personal priorities or what's being judged, just because it's not really discussed. And even amongst the judges, there's a difference in ability. Some are very high level, others seem to be not on that field, but all in the field of judge. I've even seen judges be, I guess in your terms would be bad musicality.
Of course. But I will mention the things that my OGs taught me to, and I do agree. So the what, when, where, who, why. What, when, where, who, why. What you using it, when you use it. What, when, where do you use it? Who, so means that you have a creator of a music, for example. So who do you address your dance? At who you address your dance? Why do you doing it? Why do you jump on the music, but this music doesn't match with what you do? So why? That is so funny. Sometimes I'm like, why he was doing this? That was so simple to just stomp on the beat. I mean, so what, when, where, who, why? So that's my point. And with all of that, musicality. With all.
Yeah, thank you for all the commentary.
Oh, yeah. I hope it's going to work for you.
Yeah, to our listeners out there, we just had a section on watching some commentaries with Meech. It's probably going to be cut out from the main episode and cut it into shorter clips. So be sure to check out that playlist.
Right.
So how do you maintain your abilities as you get older? Because sometimes, like time gets shorter, health changes, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you are losing certain skills? Or do you feel like you do certain things to really maintain all that you can do?
I feel during the time I won into not just maturity, but find some response. During the time you're looking for the excellence about your dance and also the person you are, I try to find the response of everything I was asking myself and asking to people. I remember all the time I was asking to French people like Hicham or Rabat or Régis, and asking also to different people I met in the States like Super Dave, Khalif, Brian, Violetta, Tweety, okay, how is working, how these things working. And more I get older, more I understand that this is a spiritual thing. So for me, is getting older is being more spiritual into what I'm doing, especially in my expression, in my creativity, in my dance. This is what I'm looking for. And actually, I think it's working because I attract more things going into that way. And I can tell now people listening more to me. So I can tell I get more older because I think I find more my words and I get more the ears of people. I think also I have this connection with my ancestor that guide me so much when I was young and until now. So what I'm doing now is just continue the legacy and try to spread it.
Yeah, beautiful. So I guess in the theme of what we were going about over the commentary is like you're reaching the maturity stage in your journey.
All right. I try.
Yeah, amazing. Do you have any special shout outs you'd like to mention?
Yeah. I want to shout out all the people that contribute and participate of the person I am right now, you included. And I just want to say to the people that coming into our culture or be following me since all these years, I'm here for you. I'm here for myself the most. But also, I want to say that I contribute to get a voice, and there is a space for anyone. Don't looking for legitimacy, be the legitimacy. Don't be yourself in the game, be you. But don't be yourself in the game, be you. Try not do. Other things is, if you guys decide to teach, my first thing will be to advise you to look for the most important for you that you want to spread, because it's not just about foundations. The foundations bring another and others history with, if you guys decide to have another expression as music, like I'm so happy to see people like Koflo, Capella, Christian from France, Dan Shiro right now, many other people that's spinning now and producing music, is because you find another voice to express yourself, So please continue to do this, because that means that dancing is there to contribute to the person you are, not just a dancer, but a person. There's human behind a dancer. Never forget that.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you have any final closing thoughts for our listeners out there?
Thank you for bringing me here, Vin. And please continue to take message from people. It's needed, because for the people that come into that culture, it's really important to educate us and educate people with voice of each other. That's it. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meech. This has been great. Feels very meaningful and sentimental for me to have you on the show.
Yeesh.
And as always, you always have a home in my place and also on the show. So definitely looking forward to doing part 2, part 3 when the time comes.
Let's go.
Thank you again.
Thank you.